Hi everyone, welcome to Bosscoder Academy's YouTube channel. Today we will be talking about data. We are generating 328 terabytes of data every day, and the need for skilled data scientists is also increasing with this data. Now the gap that we see is huge between the supply and demand for data scientists and data analyst roles. People are confused whether they should go for this domain, whether they should make change in their jobs, or it will be a bad decision for them. And if they choose, how will they ensure that they get to work in top companies like Google and Microsoft as a data scientist or a data analyst? To answer these questions and more, we have invited Manish Garg, who is Director of Data Science at Bosscoder Academy. So if you are someone who is looking to transition into data science roles or data analyst roles, then this video is for you. So without further delay, let's get started with the video. Finally, Manish has joined us on this podcast, and as someone who has multiple years of experience working in top companies like Samsung and Curie and working with Android's founder, we are very excited to learn from his experiences and his insights today. Thank you, Manish, for joining us today.
Thank you, Noor, for inviting me and giving me a platform to talk about my experience with everyone and share it with everyone.
So Manish, I have heard a lot about you. I have known that you are working on upskilling people. So I wanted to know a bit about yourself first. What are you as a professional? Like, what is your background? Where do you come from?
So, if I talk about my professional journey, I graduated in 2016 from IIT Dhanbad Computer Science branch, and after that, just after the college, I got into Samsung as a machine learning engineer. At Samsung, I learnt a lot about machine learning, and after that, I felt like I wanted to work with some startups in my life. So I started working with some startups, and then I landed up into Essential. Essential was a company by Andy Rubin, who was the founder of Android, and with him we were building a privacy focused operating system. And my role at Essential was to build a voice intelligence system for them, and I was leading the whole voice intelligence group and the team there at Essential.
So from what I get, you learned a lot from your experiences, right? But I wanted to know a bit about you as a human being, as like someone who just graduated from, let's say, IIT Dhanbad. So what were your aspirations and how did you landed up in data science?
So, I was always interested in data science. I was always interested in data from the first year itself. I started working on multiple projects in the college which were revolving around data. So from there I grew my interest into data, and finally when Samsung came to the campus, I was hired as a machine learning engineer, although other friends of mine were hired as a software engineer. This was because of my project and my deep interest in data science, and basically the projects that I had in data. So that's how I landed a job into the data field, and then one thing followed other, and finally today I am here at Bosscoder. I co-founded Bosscoder, and right now I am leading the whole data science team at Bosscoder, and I am currently the director of data science, and everything that we do at Bosscoder related to data science is something that me and my team leads.
So you mentioned a lot of experiences. Nowadays people are more confused about different fields into data science. You mentioned that all your friends were hired as a software engineer, but you were only hired to work on, let's say, data specific field. So can you differentiate briefly about three major fields that are there in data science? First, I think, is a data scientist, another is a data engineer, and finally data analyst. So can you give a brief differentiation about all these fields?
Yeah. So basically, if we talk about the overall journey of how the data flows inside the organization and how it can be used, that will explain how what all these things are. I will also talk about a example. Let's talk about Zomato or Swiggy, right? Any delivery service. So whenever they are delivering food in any city, anywhere, they are collecting a lot of data. Now they know that based on this data, first role is of a data analyst. Data analyst will analyze this data and will mainly find out where are the major orders coming from, which parts in the map are there where most of the demand is there, from where the supply is more. All these things can be analyzed from the data that Zomato or Swiggy has. Now the next part is we have some analytics on the data, which is the job role of a data analyst. This doesn't require you to have a very deep technical understanding. This is a domain where you can or cannot have technical understanding. You should have understanding of data analysis, but too much technicalities are not required. After that, once Zomato knows that okay, this is the place where most of the orders are coming from, this is the place where most of the orders are being picked up. Now there has to be a maps algorithm which can optimize the path of the delivery boy, which maybe can be done by Google Maps, or Zomato can have their own service for doing it. How they will optimize the orders is something that a data scientist will do. Data scientist will, based on the same data, will create models, will create sophisticated models, I would say, that will solve or optimize a business problem. So problem here is that the delivery boy should reach from one place to the delivery location in the minimum amount of time with minimum fuel consumption. This problem cannot be just solved by seeing the data. This needs more sophisticated knowledge to be imparted into a technical system. This would be done by a data scientist. Now when we talk about again this data is not some small amount of data. These are gigabytes and terabytes of data that are being collected at some data warehouses. These warehouses are very like data intensive locations. How to handle this data? How will this data be stored in data warehouses? How will this data be stored in different databases? How this data will flow to data analyst? How this data will flow to data scientist? How everyone will use this data is something that is decided and is implemented by a data engineer. Data engineer is the person who handles the flow of data from data warehouses where a large amount of data is being collected to different locations, and as well as they manage how this data is being stored, and all these things is something that is done by data engineer. So in a nutshell, if I summarize this, data analyst is the person who analyzes the data and figure out what is happening. Data scientist is the person who takes this information that all these things are happening and try to optimize another business problem based on these events which they have got to know from data analysis. And data engineer is the person who handles the flow of this data in an organization and basically makes sure that data is securely transferred from one place to another and is securely stored at some location.
Okay. I hope it is understood by major of the audience. But again, now the question that arises is that which role is suitable for me? Let's say I am someone who is looking to enter this field or have some experience in some other field but want to transition now. So which role is suitable for me how can someone answer this question?
Sure. So I hear this question again and again from a lot of learners that I talk to on daily basis. If you are someone who is from a non-tech background and or have very limited knowledge of data science or data engineering at currently, then data analyst is the field that you can try to enter. You will surely get, since I earlier said, right, that data analyst is not a very technical role. It needs some technical skills, but it's not completely technical. So it's a mix of tech plus non-tech, which can be learned easily by a person who is not very technical. So anyone who is looking to move into data science, the first step should be a data analyst. Now if someone is already in data engineering or data science domain, then they already know, and if they have a lot of deep interest towards data science, they can basically, a data scientist can easily move into data engineering. A data engineer can also easily move towards data science. They are very closely related and have very common skill set that is required for them.
Okay. So now that if someone is sure about what they want to do, let's say they want to be a data scientist, so how will top companies like Google, Microsoft, you mentioned Zomato, Swiggy, how will they select candidates? What will they look in the candidates? What profiles, what projects do they look for in the candidate?
So while I was not I, but when we were designing this course at Bosscoder for data science, we spoke to a lot of industry leaders, lot of people who are handling data science divisions, and lot of hiring managers. Everyone are looking for few common skills. Number one skill, if I talk about, let's talk about data science first. If I talk about data science, everyone is looking for good problem solving skills in coding as well as in data science. Basically you should be able to analyze data and think about this. So critical thinking and problem solving skill is the number one skill that any company is looking for. If we go more deeper into what exact skills are required, every company is looking for your machine learning and deep learning skills. Your fundamentals should be very clear. Your mathematical skills which are required, applied mathematics which is required for machine learning and deep learning, should be very clear. If that is not clear, you won't be able to perform well into your job. I think these are the major skills that any company is looking for, if for the role of data scientist, which you asked, I guess.
Okay. And can you also mention for our audience that someone, let's say, is looking for data analyst roles as well. So can you also mention a bit about them as well? What skills are required for them?
Sure, yeah. For a person who is looking for data analyst role, so end of the day, they should be very good at analyzing data. They should be very good at handling data. So when we talk about handling data, first skill that they need is database handling. They should be good with SQL. They should be good with SQL queries, and they should be like not good but super good and very good with SQL. This is the number one skill that any company is looking for. They should be good with Python coding. End of the day, they have to analyze data, and they have to basically they have a massive amount of data. They will have to clean the data. They will have to do several operations on that data, for which Python is a handy language and is a widely used language. So they should be good with Python coding. And then the third thing is they should be good with data analysis. You have cleaned the data, you know Python, you have done everything. Now you should be able to think about how should I analyze the data. For that, you should be good with statistics, you should be good with probability, you should be good with linear algebra. These are some of the core mathematical skills that you would need. And then of course your data analysis using some of the tools like Excel, Power BI, Tableau, all these are the tools that facilitate data analysis. You should be good with these tools also.
Okay. So you mentioned all these skills. So you mentioned all these skills that are required. Now people are looking how to upskill, and there are a lot of resources online on how to become a data analyst, how to become a data scientist. So as a director of program for data science at Bosscoder Academy, can you tell me what differentiates your program from the rest of the programs that other people are offering?
Yeah. So this program that we have designed at Bosscoder, as I told earlier also, that we have spoken to more than 100 plus hiring managers and leaders who are either working as data scientist or hiring for data scientist role. And after that we have very carefully designed this curriculum. This is a very practical curriculum which gives you the right skill sets.
Okay.
When I talk about practical curriculum, what I mean is, throughout this course we do numerous business case studies. We do business case studies on Netflix, we do business case studies on Swiggy, and what we do in these business case studies is we think from the perspective of an engineer or a data scientist leader who is sitting at Zomato and wants to solve this problem at Zomato.
Okay.
So let's assume that Airtel is seeing that there is a lot of customer churn that is happening, and a lot of customers are porting from Airtel to some other network.
Right.
Or any company, any telecom company sees this thing. Now we have taken data from some of these telecom companies, and we basically use this data for creating this business case study where our learners will think from the perspective of a person who is already working in this telecom company, and they have to solve this problem that when is the customer going to drop off from this network. So let's say if I am the customer of Airtel, you have to create a model on when is that date or when is that time when Manish will basically port to some different network. And once the company is able to do that, once Airtel is able to do that, they can deploy some retention strategies.
Exactly.
If they know that, okay, Manish is going to, there is high probability, 90% probability that next week Manish is going to throw this SIM and basically go for some other network, they can give me some offer. They can deploy various retention strategies. So this is how we have designed our business case studies, to solve real problems that actually these companies faces on daily basis, and we then discuss them on how these companies have actually solved these problems for themselves. And this creates a problem solving mindset in the field of data science, and this creates them ready for industry relevant skills. It is like if you are doing a course at Bosscoder for 6 months, then all the skills that you are gaining are practical skills which can be used directly into your work from day zero. So you are not only interview ready, you become job ready with Bosscoder from day zero.
Correct.
That is one thing that I feel which highly differentiates Bosscoder data science program, which you will not find in any of the curriculum outside of Bosscoder, which provides this kind of detailed business case studies on different topics.
So I think it's super helpful for people who are looking to get into these roles to actually learn from the real world case studies that happened in real time, and they work on that data on which actual analysts or data scientists worked. So as you mentioned, I think it is going to be very helpful for people, and you said that they are not only going to be interview ready but job ready. Exactly. So for gaining these right skills, right, it must take a lot of time, a lot of efforts, right? And majority of people who are looking to get into these roles are already working, so they have some time constraints, and they are not able to devote a lot of energy into upskilling. How Bosscoder makes it easier for them to learn these concepts, to learn and upskill to become a data scientist or a data analyst?
Right. So as you said, like the end goal is very far away, and it takes a lot of effort to get these things done. Now, as you said, how do we make it easy? That's exactly the thing that we do. What we do is we just make the journey of the learner easy. How we make it easy is, number one, we provide mentorship to students. So what a mentor can do is, mentor acts like a elder brother or sister in your life, and they provides you all the guidance, all the motivation, all the hand holding that is required whenever you are not able to move
Correct.
forward.
Yes.
So that's what our mentors do. We have a great team of mentors, 100 plus mentors from top tier data scientists and data science companies, and like top tier tech companies who are very good data scientists. They help with mentorship. All the classes that we do are live classes. These live classes helps with consistency. It doesn't take effort to just come and consume the content in a live class. It's very interactive, so that makes the life of a learner again very easy.
That's great.
They know the schedule, they have everything in their calendar, they just have to show up for that, and then next 2 hours of learning will be like a click for them.
Amazing.
And they just have to show up. Now, how do they show up is, we have different tools, different technologies deployed, different reminders that we send, so that they actually show up also in the classes, and that friction of showing up is also reduced. So we make this journey of showing up into the classes easier by doing this. Next thing that we do is, we have 24/7 doubt support. So when people solve assignment, when a learner is solving assignment, again they face difficulty if they are stuck in solving a problem. Again, we make it easy by giving them 24/7 doubt support. The doubt support person is just a one click away. They have to click a button and they will be able to do a video call instantly without any delay with our doubt support representative, which will again make their problem solving easier. So what essentially we have done is, we have made the classes easier, we have made the assignments and solving assignments easier,
Right.
we have made their mentorship and basically motivation also a bit easier for them to get with the mentor ecosystem that we
Okay.
have. These are the major things that we do to make sure that learners actually reach the outcome that they want to reach.
So you mentioned that you make mentorship easier, but the quality of teaching and mentorship depends on the quality of mentor and teacher. So can you give me some insights about how qualified, how your teachers are qualified, how your mentors are qualified to teach someone who wants to get into these roles?
So quality depends on a lot of factors. There are different standard procedures that we have set so that we don't hire a wrong person. We have proper training modules deployed for instructors and mentors.
Okay.
Anyone who is teaching at Bosscoder or mentoring at Bosscoder has to go through a 1 month training module before actually doing the real job. And then all our mentors and instructors are from top tier companies which have average experience of 10 years in the data science domain.
That's amazing.
And all people are working into the top 20 companies you can assume from India, be it Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Uber, Atlassian, or
Awesome.
Cesium, Adobe. All these are the people who, so knowledge wise they are already good, teaching wise they are already good, and whatever is not good we make sure that we train them so that they are able to deliver the best in the classes. And then we have proper feedback mechanisms in the classes. After every mentor session, student gives us feedback. It's like Uber. Whenever you ride a Uber, there is a feedback that you provide. Based on, we take this feedback very seriously. Based on that, we decide who are good and who are not good, and that's how the whole system of feedback based quality works.
So you mentioned that you are helping people upskill by making things easier for them as well. Now let's say they upskill as well with the help of Bosscoder's program. But data science is an interesting field right now, and the competition is a lot. For a single role, there are thousands of applicants. So, what does Bosscoder's program do to make these people stand out, let's say, in the applicants, so that they are selected in top companies like Google, Amazon, and startups like Zomato and new AI startups?
So Noor, you have actually answered half of the question that you asked.
Okay.
You said that for getting an interview call from a company, how do we make sure that students' profiles stand out?
Right.
So standing out is the key thing, that if a person's profile stands out, then only they will get interview calls. So how do we make sure that actually the profile of the student or the learner stands out is by building the best resume possible that they can showcase from their work. Every project that is done at Bosscoder, student writes a 3000 word write-up, a document about that, and then deploy that project on GitHub or host it somewhere where it can be showcased. Every project at Bosscoder for every student is a live project that they have deployed. They have written 3000 words about that, so basically they understand each and everything about that. And then we ask the students to summarize those 3000 words into, let's say, 30 to 40 words which has to be written in the resume.
Okay.
So that's how they are able to write the perfect thing about in the STAR methodology, which is situation, task, action, and results. So based on this STAR methodology, they are able to create an impactful resume, and anyone who reads the resume understands that this person has actually done and created some impact on the real world projects, which is also live and can be seen by the recruiter.
Right.
If this resume comes in front of the recruiter, then mostly these resumes are get selected, and we have seen a 70% increase in our learner resume selection process after we have implemented this methodology of writing a 3000 page essay and then deploying the projects and basically making them live. It has given us tremendous success in terms of resume selection improvement percentage.
That's an amazing fact, I think. And apart from this, I think you also must provide opportunities for people to, let's say, how to connect with people, how to connect with recruiters, how to basically get interviews lined up for themselves, right?
So first step is first step is upskilling. Second step is making the most perfect resume that showcase your skills that you have. And the third step is basically using that resume for applying to companies.
Correct.
We have collaborated and partnered with a lot of companies which are hiring for data analysts, data scientists, data engineers, software engineers. We have partnered with more than 300 companies till date, and these companies are hiring directly from Bosscoder. Our students gets direct opportunities at these companies.
Okay.
Then the second level of support that we provide is we help them with their other social media profiles optimization, like how should their LinkedIn look like, how should their Naukri.com profile look like, how the other profiles should look like, so that they start getting calls themselves also. We enable them in getting the calls by themselves, and we also help them from Bosscoder side through our partnered companies in getting calls into into direct calls into these companies.
So a major part of getting selected in database roles is how many projects and what projects one has done in their upskilling, and what learnings did they got from those projects. Does Bosscoder also provides projects as part of the program?
Yes. So every business case study acts as a project in itself.
Right.
Every class is designed in a way that works on real data sets. So we do multiple projects, not one or two, but there are multiple good level projects, big projects that students will do throughout their journey at Bosscoder, and all the projects are going to be real projects.
Real time.
What I mean by real projects is these are student has to do these projects on real data set from the companies that we have partnered with. Real world data is not like the data set that we get on some websites like Kaggle.com. Real world data is messy. Real world data is not clean. It's very bad. It's not something that looks good. So student and learners at Bosscoder has to start from this messy data, clean this data, extract features out of this data, think about what features to use, then actually do data modeling and data analysis, and then deploy this model. So whole pipeline of how a data science project works, that experience and that real world experience is given to the students at Bosscoder.
Those were some great insights, Manish, and I'm sure our audience must also have learned a great deal from this interview, or you can say a podcast. And thank you so much for joining us today and telling us about the Bosscoder program that helps people get into data science and data analyst roles. So thank you, Manish, so much.
Thank you, Noor and team for inviting me, and thanks for listening to us, and I hope the same, that we are able to provide a very good learning experience for our learners